My name's Tarrant. I work with startups. I work with organizations that have growing sales teams to turn their sales teams into high-performance teams. And I use sales mindset and success-based mindset in order to accelerate that process. Your mindset is quite literally the determinant of your success. What you think inside shapes the way the world is to you. It shapes the results that you get. The more congruent, that's in line, that you are with your thoughts, words, and actions, the better the results that you will see when you employ that behavior with the best sales practices. So today, we're going to talk about mindset and how it impacts cold calling, or as I prefer, warm calling, because we don't do cold calling. It's never just a standalone thing. We're going to look at some of the dynamics that we employ to make that calling experience more productive. I'm going to show you some insights, or share some insights about the way that you're coming across to bring awareness to that so that you can start to become more effective. But to start with, I'm going to introduce you to a little concept called state. Yeah? I wrote a book about success for salespeople and mindset. And it's 3 core components, and we're going to touch upon them today briefly before we get into the calling dimension of this session. So, the first part of that is consistency. Yeah? Who you're being every moment, who you show up to the world as. Yeah? It's really important that you have the same attitudes and thoughts continuously because it speaks to the world energetically. And as for energy, what we call state, the way we feel inside, the way that it shapes our thoughts, has a major impact on the results that we get. So that when you wake up in the morning and the sun is shining and you feel like, yes, feel powerful, feel strong, feel like I can do anything. When you come from that energy, the world that you can perceive, the world you can imagine for yourself is bigger. Yeah, your opportunity is more expansive. Yeah, you're not limited by the sense that everything is difficult or small. So conversely, when you wake up and it's raining and it's grey and you've had a hangover and you don't want to get out of bed, your view is down here. So what I want to do is create an energetic lift for you. I want you to be on the top of the mountain so that you can see and you can envisage, you can imagine the outcomes that you want. And to do that, I'm going to do a little exercise with you, but before we do that, I want to hear everybody say yes, that they're up for this, that they're going to play full out today. Yes, are you up for it? Yes. Excellent. That's the right answer, because otherwise this is going to be really painful for me. Me dancing and everyone watching. So who likes to dance? Everybody, right? So we're going to do a little bit of energy movement. We're going to have some music, and for a couple of minutes, I want you to just go for it, because that energy you embody is going to make the difference. So everybody get into the middle of the room. There is no hiding. It's not loud enough. Come on! Jump! Right. Right. Are we feeling alive now? That's better, that's better, that's better, that's better. Okay. From this energy, from this place, you can achieve and accomplish so much more because you're now animated. Yeah? Imagine you starting your day every day with this feeling. I want you to connect with this feeling. How do I feel now? How powerful do I feel? Because that's where I want you to start your day. If you start from there, you're going to get better results. Okay, you can have your chairs back now. So grab a chair, get comfy.
3 minutes, so the manager.
Everybody take a seat, please. Morgan and Nikia, please come here a minute. Nikia. Well, guys, thanks to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This is a special occasion for us. This is the first time we're doing a training like this. Please, everybody, we're waiting for Nikia. First time, as I said, that Factorial is doing a training like this. This is the first of many trainings, and so I want to hear some words from our managers, please.
Hello, thanks for making me do this when I'm a bit breath. So we're very excited to present you to Tarn today. Tarn has over 10 years experience working for international companies and helping and enabling large sales teams scale to achieve the results that the company needs and to increase market share within these companies. Nice Hiring has been working with startups with high potential like ours to ingrain these best practices in their organisations to achieve the results that they need as well. So, again, I'm out of breath. So, Tarn's actually here for the next 3 weeks to help us ingrain the best mindset we can possibly have to get results, to achieve, and to be successful as individuals and as a team. So he's here to ultimately help us sell better, faster, and more importantly, more.
Lo vamos a hacer en 2 idiomas, ¿no?
Ya lo he dicho todo, Morgan.
En España, a ver si tenemos el doble.
Factorial gives you the opportunity to train to professionals, and so don't miss it. For me, it's all. Factorial nos está brindando una oportunidad, así que tomar esto en serio, tomar notas, tomar apuntes, llevemos esto a la realidad, a conseguir nuestros objetivos y espero que os sirva y nos sirva a todos. Así que gracias por venir y estad atentos.
Okay, so let's just, are we all SDRs here? All cold calling or warm calling or calling? Everybody, hands up? Yeah, excellent.
We have SDRs and account executives.
And we have AEs. Can I see the AEs? Who are the AEs? Hi, guys. These guys are they're your heroes because they're going to make your jobs easier once I finish with them, yeah? Okay, so mindset. Why is mindset so important? Because as I said before, it shapes the way that we see the world and the way that we react to it or respond to it. Yeah? Who's had a bad cold call or a bad telephone call where you've got off the phone and you went, why am I doing this? Yeah, right. At some point in your career, you're going to have that. Yeah? And the thing is, those calls never stop happening. They always happen because people have bad days and you might get them at the wrong time. The key here is to recognize that it's not down to you. Well, I hope it's not down to you. If you're doing the things correctly, it's that you maybe called them at the wrong time. They had an argument with their partner in the morning, someone stole their car. Who knows? It doesn't matter. The point is that you have to separate who you are from what you do. You're not actually SDRs. You're people doing the role of SDR work, sales development, yeah? So don't let your identity get conflated with what you do, because that makes it very difficult to overcome challenges. Okay, so if you get into that state, that energetic state regularly, if you exercise, you dance, you meditate, anything that gets the energy and the blood pumping starts to have an impact on your neurochemistry, the way that your brain works. We start to produce more neurochemicals like dopamine. Yeah, we've heard of dopamine, serotonin, yeah? Oxytocin, the one that makes everyone really huggy. Yeah? These chemicals are the body's way of preparing us and rewarding us for certain behaviors. Over millions of years of evolution, these things have happened, and we can hijack that process to put ourselves into an optimal state of being. We do our most creative work, our most energized work when we are accessing the higher parts of our ability, and we access that through making ourselves aligned with those energy-raising practices. So whether you do this or not, I just want you to know how it works. Every morning I'm at the gym at 6:15 in the morning, and I do workout. I get the blood pumping, I feel great. I have a cold shower when I get from the gym. It makes me feel alive. If I can handle getting up at 6, going to the gym in a cold shower, there's nothing the day can't throw at me that I can't walk through. Yeah? It's about walking through the roadblocks and not letting them attack you, not letting them take your energy away. So if we can manage our energy, we're already on a winner. So then we've got to do something with it. Yeah? And the way that the mind works is that ever since you were old enough to start realizing what you're doing and where you are, your brain was capturing and storing information about your environment. Yeah? This data forms the body of our subconscious mind and the way that we think. So whilst you think you're in control of everything, whilst you think you're making the decisions, you're actually responding to the way that your subconscious mind works and the thoughts and ideas that are running down underneath. So what happens then when we do something? We are accessing memories in the past, but we're unaware of this. They come from a part of the mind called the procedural memory. It's a thing that allows you to tie your shoelaces and remember how to do it without actually remembering the first time that you do it. So why is this important? Well, it's important because the experiences that we get are quite often because of the experiences that we've had in the past. So we think we're in the present moment. You're on the phone having a call, and actually the body is preparing us for that moment by framing the moment, by giving you a set of responses, both psychologically and physically, that were initiated in a past experience. That would be fine if all your past experiences were positive. But if you ever have a feeling that calling is, you don't like it so much, I know that's your job, but internally we would never tell the manager that we really don't like doing it, would we? Because that would be weakness, yeah? So you've got to be okay in your own mind, yeah, that what you're doing is part of the job and that there are things that we don't like doing. So how can we not replay that memory? We have to set an intention, yeah? Intention setting is like setting a map, creating a pathway to where you want to get to. I'll give you an example of why intention setting is really important, and then we can go through it afterwards together. Does anybody know who Felix Baumgartner is? Felix Baumgartner was a Red Bull daredevil, base jumper, parachutist, crazy dude from Germany that about 12 years ago went up in a balloon in a little tin capsule to the edge of the atmosphere, to the stratosphere, jumped out and free fall to Earth at terminal velocity, and most people would have thought he was mad. And it was even worse that he had this fear of heights and he was claustrophobic, and yet he went up in this little balloon on his own, opened the door, saw the blue marble down there, and it's like, I've got to jump. How do you prepare for something like that? He did that jump physically just once. But in his mind, he did it 1,000 times. He quite literally imagined every detail about the experience that he was going to engage with. He wanted to make it congruent, that's to be part of who he was, that every dimension, standing up, walking to the capsule door, looking down, everything was imagined and visualized, and he felt the emotion that he wanted to experience. So if you've heard of this idea of visualization, the key component that's quite often missed is the emotion dimension. Because the emotion is what locks it into our memory. It's what creates that connection and allows our subconscious mind to navigate towards it. Because we are all emotional beings. Yeah? We're energetic, yeah? But we are emotional because the emotion is the way that thought is experienced by the body as an emotion. So he did this 1,000 times, playing over in his mind how he wanted it to go. He couldn't afford it to go any other way because he'd be squished. What I want you to start thinking about is how are you setting intention for the activities and the outcomes that you want to experience? Do you even set any intentions? When you get into the work in the morning and you're like, hey guys, hey, I get my coffee. You sit down, you put the headset on, and it's like, start dialing. There's no preparation, or maybe you do, and if you do, that's fantastic. But what I want to encourage you to do is start looking at it more consciously. That what I'm about to do is I'm about to go out to the world and announce the value that I represent through Factorial. And that actually, the outcomes that I want to encounter are people saying, you know what? Yeah, it's a good time that you called. Yeah, let's have a conversation. We need to set that intention to look for. Because if we don't set an intention for the outcomes that we want, we go back to the default that our subconscious mind gives us, the past experiences of whatever it is that's circulating in our subconscious mind about that activity. So say, for example, you had a week of no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. That's the experience you're going to be sorting for subconsciously because we look to validate our ideas about something. So if we don't set a new idea, we validate the old ones. Yeah, circular. And this isn't just with business, this is our life. We go through patterns and we go through cycles. So we must set enabling intentions to give us direction. It's like getting in a car with your friends, load up the luggage, and you're going to go on holiday, yeah? So it's like, everybody ready? Yeah, let's go on holiday. And you start driving, and then you realize no one actually knows where you're going for a holiday. So you drive around for a bit, and then you end up back home because you don't have a destination to aim for. So intention setting is setting that point in the future that you're going to go to. Because the subconscious mind will guide you there. Yeah? We call it the universe if you like, it doesn't really matter, but that's the way experience works. We quite literally hallucinate all of our reality. We create it from our intentions and our thoughts. Often those intentions are given to us rather than created by us. So going forward, I want you to sit down in the morning and the first thing you do when you turn on your machine, just set an intention. What outcome do you want to experience for that day's calling? How many meetings are you going to book? Visualize it for 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be a big deal like this. Do the state raise, absolutely. Do it in the office together, even better. But when you sit down, set an intention. Close your eyes, take a few long, deep breaths. Why? Because we want to create some space between the thoughts. In the gap between our thoughts, that's where that creativity can arise from. 30 seconds of picturing the outcome that you want, feeling the success that you're going to have, and then just get on with your day. Because, guys, success is something that can only be experienced in the moment. It's experiential. You can't hold it in your hand. So you can be successful in what you do in this very moment. You're successfully sitting there listening intently. When you're on the call with the client, you're sitting there intently listening or focused sharing of value to them. So where your mind goes, your reality flows. It's so important that you get this, right? You are quite literally creating your experiences. They're not happening to you. You're choosing them by what you look for. Okay, so the third part of this is the belief dimension. So we have this energetic state that lifts us up. It goes, yes, I can do it. Then you have this intention. I've got my arrow. I'm going to fire it to that direction. That's where I'm going. But if you don't believe in that, if you don't actually align your behaviors in order to get there, then it's an empty promise that you're making yourself. So belief comes from the alignment of your thoughts, words, and actions, and the practices that are laid out for you that will give you those results. It's like, well, I'm going to do 10 meetings today on the phone. I'm going to book 10 meetings for the AEs, and then you spend only half an hour on the phone. It's not going to happen. So you have to align your thoughts, your words, and your actions, and do the little things. It's not the big things that make the difference. It's the little things that you do consistently well that will create the inner sense of confidence that the goals and intentions that you set are entirely achievable. Now, it might sound a bit woo-woo to you, but the best salespeople that I've worked with have always had the view that you have to have clear sight to what you want to accomplish. You have to focus that attention to where you're going. You have to be in the moment, fully engaged with what you're doing. There's no sort of calling and then chatting. You're there to get a job done. It doesn't mean you can't have fun at other times in the day, but when you're sitting at the desk, professionally, you're going, bang, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm doing. It's not about being a robot, but it's about being totally immersed in what you're doing. That level of dedication is what gets results. You don't believe me? Look at an Olympic athlete. The Olympic athlete trains like a demon, eats well, trains well, listens to the coach, reads all the best practices on performance. Psychologically, they are well into mindset because they know the difference between gold and silver is the belief that the gold is possible. So if you want to be Olympians, in Factorio and be really successful in yourself, in what you do, start giving some thought to how you can align yourself to the results you want. Because not only that, it's going to put money in your pocket. Yeah? And let's be honest, we like that. Money's great. Money buys dreams. Money funds dreams. Yeah? And you can make a lot of money in sales, guys. It's the best job in the world when it's going well. And it's also the worst job in the world when it's not. And I can attest to that because I've been in sales for over 25 years. I started my career knocking on doors, selling internet connectivity to businesses. Yeah? I then progressed desk-based selling, like telephone selling. That was a step up. I ended up running teams, training salespeople, managing European business. And consistently, I wasn't always aware at the beginning, but consistently I realized it's the way that we look at the world that determines the results. So that's kind of the focus that I want you to have on this mindset piece. I want to get into the calling dimension now because it's really important, but I just wanted to lay that as a foundation. Does everybody is everything clear, or do you want me to repeat anything in maybe a different way? But everybody's good, yeah? Hands up. Am I putting you to sleep? Sounds like it. Okay. All right. So, calling. Calling is never really cold if you're doing it properly because your calling is always part of a broader strategy of communication. Yeah. So you use what? Email, LinkedIn, other social media channels potentially, and then you have your call. Yeah. Hands up who really loves calling. Is that honest? If it is, brilliant. Hands up, it's okay. Okay. Hands up is like, I'd rather not do it, but it's a good gig. No one's going to admit that one. That's fine. Right, look. You only have to make peace with what you're doing because any resistance you have internally is always going to take away your energy. When you're calling, do you feel like you're expecting a rejection? Do you think that you're phoning at the wrong time? Or are you just bursting to tell them the good news? Say again? Depends on the day. Okay, that's a good answer because it means that you're responding to how you feel, yeah? That's okay. Look, when we do a call, yeah, we need to maximize the chance of that person taking the call and listening long enough for us to get out some key information, yeah? And then the intention, what's the intention, guys, of the call for you? Shout out, yeah? What are you trying to accomplish? Come on, speak up. What's the intention? What do you want to accomplish? Book a demo, get a sale, what else? Help them. Get time. Yeah, okay. The intention behind the call is to take the engagement or the conversation to the next stage. You don't sell on one phone call. Yeah? You sell the meeting that comes next. And this is really important because then you realize that the information that you need to use and the things that you need to discover change dramatically because I'm not at the point of saying, hey, here's the pen, can you sign the contract? It's like, hang on, we've only just started speaking. It's a bit premature. So we're selling the meeting and we're using the impact of our offering to create interest, yeah? And in fact, you're not really selling software, guys. You're not really selling software to your clients. What do you think you're selling? Help? Solutions, yeah, absolutely. You're selling the impact of your offering on their business. How many of you are uber clear, super clear on the value that it represents? Nodding, one or two. Because we're going to go through this in a bit. Because this is going to help you be more successful on the calls. So has anybody taken a phone call from a salesperson at all in their life? How long did it take you to recognize that it was a sales call? Less than 5 seconds? Yeah? You knew what was coming, right? It's like, it's a sales call. And it's like, sorry, I'm not interested. Thanks, bye. A couple of things you've got to consider, right? Firstly, how you are when you receive calls is largely going to determine how you're going to get experiences when you make calls. So be kind to people who call you, yeah, because they're doing the same job. They might do it badly. They might be, I get calls from Vodafone at 7, 8 o'clock on the Sunday evening, and I'm like, please leave me alone. I stopped being with you years ago. But I listen because I'm a salesperson at heart and I know how difficult this gig is. So, pattern, recognition, response. You heard the phone. You answered the phone, and they went, hi, Taryn, it's John. How are you doing today? It's like, oh, it's a sales call. I instantly knew that that person was about to try and take something from me, whether it was my time, my energy, my money, my will to live. The point is, I knew instantly because I had a pattern recognition response to that opening line. So what happens when you guys phone? Do you think that's happening as well? Yeah? Sorry, your name is? Lorenzo. Can you tell me how you open the phone call? So imagine you've called me, and I'm like, hi, this is Taryn. What do you say?
Hello, Taryn. I'm Lorenzo, call you from Factoria. Do I find you in a good moment?
Okay, great stuff. What do you say?
I say, hi, Taryn, how are you doing? As you said before, I use that. Maybe.
Okay. How are you doing? How are you today? You don't really care. They know you don't really care. It's this thing that we're pretending to be polite and nice. What's most important to your clients or your prospects is that you get to the point quickly. You're respectful of their time, and they know that you don't mean the, how you doing today? it also triggers their pattern recognition response. So they immediately go into this previous memory, because everybody does this. Past experience talking to the consciousness. Hey, it's another sales call, respond accordingly, and you change your physiology. You go, okay, yeah, no, I've got to get off the phone. And you immediately try to get off the phone. So we've got to disrupt the pattern recognition response by changing the way that you engage people. This is really important, because if you trick them, if you change the way they perceive what you're saying, you create curiosity. And curiosity is incredibly, incredibly important for calling, because it means that they want to find out more. Yeah? So, first of all, it's scrap the how you're doing, and you have to be to the point. Hi, John, it's Taryn, calling from Factorial. Have you heard of us? It's a question. They have to think. Or, hi, John, it's Taryn. Have I got you a bad time? Now, why a bad time and not a good time? More often than not, when you're making a call in the sales capacity, you're trying to get them to say yes to something. Can I have a meeting? Yes. Can I have a few moments of your time? Yes. It's always a yes, which triggers the pattern recognition response. So we want to know, because they're not expecting you to ask for a no. Is it a bad time? No. Try it. Listen, guys, this isn't 100% foolproof, and I'm not promising you magic. What I'm trying to show you is the psychology of responding and the psychology of engaging, because the job's difficult enough as it is, so we need to put the cards stacked in our favor by employing the best techniques to get them to speak. So triggering an alternative response is really what we're looking to do. So there's a guy called Chris Voss. He's an ex-FBI negotiator for hostages, and he wrote this great book, Never Split the Difference. And he talks about this whole idea of going for the no, because people are looking for you to ask them for a yes. So they're more like, I'm not going to say yes because you're a salesperson. I don't know what you're selling, but it's not going to be a yes. Go for the no. Yeah? So let's say you've used that line and it's like, hey, have you heard of us? No. Great. Is now a bad time? No. And if it is a bad time, you say, well, I'm sorry, I'll try you again later this week unless there's a better time to call. At no point in the first few seconds are you talking about software. Please don't talk about software. It's not about software. It's about impact on businesses and individuals as well, because you're going to make someone's job easier potentially. So how do you engage someone? So you've got the first couple of no's and they're still on the phone. The critical component now is to say, how do I get this person to talk to me? Because what we don't want to do is a monologue. Yeah? We've all heard the scripted, hello, my name's Taryn, I'm calling from Vodafone to offer you a great... We have to get them engaged. So how many of you know exactly what you're going to say? Word perfectly. Hands up. Great stuff. Honesty. Honesty is great. I like this. It's so much better if you don't lie. Okay. Who uses a script? One person. You, sir, are a legend. Who wrote the script? Did you write it? Yeah? Is it the same script? I don't know how long you've been in the company, but is it evolved? Brilliant. We must create a script, guys. But a script isn't to be a robot, and you certainly don't want to be holding it and reading it on the phone. That's not the intention. The idea of a script is to make you think about how you can best share the amazing value to your prospect of Factorial, so much so that they want to engage in a further conversation. And if you haven't sat down and thought about those words, curated them, chosen them carefully to get maximum impact, you're going to be doing this. Hi there, it's Taryn from Factorial. I just want to talk to you about, have you got a couple of minutes? And it's not fluid. I've probably given talks like this a few times. I never prepare now because all the preparation I've done is structurally blocked. So I know what I want to communicate, but I'm not attached to reading it out word perfectly. But I know, like I've ingrained it, I've been doing this for years, and I know this is what needs to be done so I can communicate that fluidly. And that level of mastery is where I want you guys to get with your script delivery. So it's there to keep you honest. It's there to remind you in these early days what you need to cover in the call, what to look for in the call. Yeah? And you know, when you know what you're going to say, your confidence level increases massively. So, have you ever heard of a filler word? A filler word is an and elongation of normal words or ers and ums, yeah? If you listen, I'm sure you've all heard TED Talks. The best speakers on TED Talks are fluid, they're clear, they're calm in their delivery unless they call for animation to be alive, and they don't use filler words because filler words break the connection and concentration of the other person. So when you don't know what you're going to say and you're accessing your memory randomly, you employ filler words to fill the gaps because for some reason we don't seem to like silence as a species. You know, we're very uncomfortable with silences between people. We think, oh, we've got to keep talking, got to keep talking, got to keep talking. Well, I've got to listen as well. So one of the exercises, you know, we've all got paper, right? This is great. I was going to split you up into groups, but it doesn't really matter. You can do it from your chair. There's two components to this call. Yeah? There's the objections you're going to get and the benefits you can share. Because once you know those two components, you can start to create your script. If you don't know those things, you can't really create an engaging script. So we don't have to do the script now. Well, we can try and do it later. How are we doing for time, by the way? 10:10. Okay. What time are we finishing? 10:30. I better speed up. Okay. By the way, is this valuable? Is this good? Yeah. Feedback? Louder? Yeah. Okay, I'll start with that. Yeah, I'll get you jumping around again. Okay, look, so we need to know what are the top impacts. So all of you, I want you to make a list of the top 5 benefits, the top 5 ways that Factorial's platform improves the operation or improves the life of the person you're speaking to. Yeah? You should all know this. And I want to just jot them down now. If you haven't got a piece of pen and paper, just draw on your arm. Top 5. No, that's some water. You can always move on a little bit, it's fine, yeah, as long as you're okay with that. Yeah? Oh. What was your name, fella? Hey, how are you? How do you feel about sharing? Could you know your pitch, memoried? When we've done this exercise, would you share it? Would you feel up for that?
Yeah, I mean, it's only like the first 30 seconds or so.
It's a what, sorry?
It's only like the first 30 seconds.
30 seconds or 3?
30.
Even better. Guys, have you written it all down? Yep. Feedback is good. Helps. Are we alive? Have we done it? Thank you, thank you. Right, by no way is this a judgment, but you're the first person who's done it, so why not, let's see how it is. Give an example of what might be working, and maybe from this you can improve or refine. So, you can do it in situ and pretend you're calling me if that makes it easier.
You want me to list like the first 5 or
Just give me the first 30 seconds.
Okay. Bring me.
Hello.
Hi, Taryn, it's Joseph here. I've
Brilliant, okay. I've been trying to catch you for a few days. Why does he want to talk to me? Interest spiked. Great stuff. Carry on.
Yeah, did I catch you about time?
No.
Oh, perfect. Right, well, if I were to tell you this were a sales call, would you be interested or would you hang up?
Ah, the dilemma option. Now I'm intrigued, and I have to make a decision. And I have to give a yes or no. And I don't know which one it is, so no, go on.
All right, perfect. Well, I'm calling from Factorial. We're a software solution for HR management, and I wanted to reach out because I saw that you downloaded some content from our website.
Excellent, that's enough. Brilliant. Thank you. No, good start. Did you look that up? Did you look those techniques up? Or did you just come to that realization that that was a good way to do it?
No, I'd like to see bits and bobs.
YouTube is a wealth of information, guys. Not all of it's golden, but there's a wealth of information. Pattern disruption, yeah? Intrigue and curiosity, the two main components that we're talking about. Yeah? The direct, if I told you, was a sales call. I've come across it, I don't use it myself when I used to call, but it's a perfectly good one because it's disarming. It's the disarming. Okay, I'm not hiding the fact that I'm trying to talk to you about business and I'm giving you an out now. You don't have to have the call. But because he's being so considerate of my time, most people will afford him the courtesy of hearing what he has to say. I would have slightly tweaked it only not to mention the software bit. Yeah, because at this point, what we do isn't, the name of the company is the important part, because it's, have you heard of us? Curiosity again. No. We work with companies like you to make dramatic improvements on their operations that translate to X, Y, Z. Right, so you wrote that. Can someone share some of the top benefits you've got for how you impact a company? Please.
You will have time to be focused on your main job. Take care about people you manage.
Time impact, okay? Somebody else, please. Just shout it out.
Become strategic HR business partner, like giving business insights.
A strategic HR partner. Is that a benefit?
That's the outcome, yeah.
Okay. Okay, that didn't look good. Okay, we'll come back. Somebody else, please. Guys, come on. Centralization of all your HR tasks. Not a benefit. It's a function. How does it move my business forward by using your platform? How does it mean that my business is more operationally efficient? The more precise we can get an understanding of those things, the more we can then cleanly and clearly communicate that value on the phone. Because if I don't understand that translation in terms of what you say and how it helps me, I can't connect with it emotionally to want to know more. I need to know why I should be using it. What benefits has your previous client said, you know what, Factorial, you guys rock, you made this better for me, and this better for me. So I want you to think, offline now, but I want you to think, work with marketing, work with your managers, do a brainstorming session and come up with the 5 or 10 best impacts, positive impacts that your clients have when they use your software platform. And it's not about technology, guys. It's never about the product. Please.
You delete all the administrative tasks, the boring administrative tasks.
Sorry, can you speak up for the room?
No, that you delete all the boring administrative tasks. Like it's more easy to do your job every day. So you can focus on your employees and not do this kind of administrative with Excel and everything. That's I think a benefit we have.
Translate that to energy, time, money. Yeah? They're the things that people can connect with. You can use language to describe that, but it needs to get to the point of, that means, Mr. Customer, It's going to improve operational efficiency. Less manpower hours spent over a year. It's going to reduce operational expenditure, more profit on your bottom line. There needs to be something clearer that someone can connect with. You had a question or?
I will say benefit. Deliver report with a click.
Delivering reports with a click. Again, how is a report benefiting me? Gives you better command and control of your business by making key business information available at a click of a button. Yeah? Hi there.
So apart from the sentence frame, for me it's also like create a strong culture, like have happier employees, like have a nice work environment.
Okay, that's fine if you're talking to HR. Yeah? And you may not necessarily only be phoning the HR manager. In what we do, we can't rely on just one person in a company. Complex buying decisions take place in companies over more than one person, typically, unless they're a small company. Yeah? And you've got a size company profile that says this is our sweet spot. There'll be a number of employees and they'll talk. The message you give to HR, 100%. The message you give to the owner of the business, no. The owner of the business has a different view of the business operation. They're interested in hearing money, as in operational benefits, financial benefits. HR is about well-being, employee engagement, and retention. You can talk about the impact of retention to the CEO and say, you know, you're probably losing $15,000 a year for every person that doesn't stay longer than 90 days. So engagement and well-being is very important. So we need to get clear on these benefits and how they impact the business so that we can start incorporating this into the script. Because when you engage them, it's like, we don't talk about what I'm going to do for you because I don't want to sell to you because you know I'm trying to sell to you and you're going to be going, get away from me. I'm putting the phone down. So we deflect. I wanted to talk to you and I've been trying to reach you all week because we've been working with companies like you to help them realize these benefits and advantages operationally. I mean, this language is just, I'm not telling you to use my language, I'm just giving you an example. We use other people as the reference because when we don't feel like we're being sold to, we lower our guard. If I think you're trying to sell to me, then I'm always going to maintain that distance. So we use deflection. So we diffuse the pattern recognition response with a different introduction. We create intrigue and curiosity by asking a question. And then we deflect the nature of the call away from them and we talk about people that we've helped in the past, like them, making it relevant. Now, if you're using verticalization, if you're looking at the same types of companies, it makes it easier because what works for one company is going to likely work for the next one as well. So, disruption of the pattern recognition, create intrigue for the call to last longer. Yeah? Understand how you impact companies like them and share that with them. Yeah? But we've got to get to the ask. What is it we're going to ask them? Yeah, listen, I'm not going to take more than 2 minutes of your time today because I know you're busy and I am too. Why I'm calling you is I wanted to take an opportunity to invite you to a slightly longer call where I can go more deeply into how we have made big improvements to companies like yours. And if appropriate, set up a demonstration that should take no more than 20 minutes or half an hour, whatever the time period is. You're asking permission. You're giving them the opportunity to say no. You're not making them feel, well, how long is this call going to go on for? Because I'm busy and you've called me at an inopportune time. So your first call really doesn't want to last more than 2 or 3 minutes. Now they could be like, yeah, this is great, excellent timing. We'll go with it, fine. But make sure that there is always a clear progression at the end of the call. Yeah? So normally the first call is to get the next call, which is longer. That discovery is really important. It's where you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you listen more than you speak, asking the right questions, and then, if appropriate, the demonstration. How often do you go from first call to demonstration? Is that what you're trying to do? Okay. Well, you can conflate the two to sensing how interested they are. You can even say, well, we schedule a second call, and if that call goes well, we can include and incorporate a demonstration at the end of it. So it's not like you have to sit through the demo. We're going to ask some questions, do a little bit of discovery, and if it works for both of us, because you're qualifying them, remember, if they don't meet your criteria, they're not a good fit.
Can you repeat that sentence you said about like going to the meeting, like from saying this call not going to take longer than?
Yeah, so look, you say, look, if what I said to you is of interest, I would like to invite you to another call later this week, maybe for 20 minutes to 40 minutes, where we want to understand a little bit more about your business and obviously share a little bit more detail about how we've helped companies like you. And if that's of interest, we can then incorporate a demonstration at the end of it, which will take no more than 15 or 20 minutes. Does that sound like something you could be interested in? You're giving them the invitation, and they know that they can have a second call, but they're not obliged to sit through a demo. And you might not want to go through the demo, because if you've spoken to them and realize very quickly that it's not a great call, or they're not a great fit, you don't have to then sit through a demo that you know isn't going to go anywhere. So you make it a contingency of them agreeing and seeing the value of having further discussion. In that first call, you need to capture their attention with how you impact their business, though. So what happens, though, typically, because obviously we're talking in the perfect world, normally they say, no thanks, not interested because we've got an HR system. Have you? Or we've got an Excel system, and that's kind of the same thing. Okay. So what are the main objections you get? Because we need to know how to knock them back. Guys, what are your objections?
Send me an email.
Sorry?
Send me an email.
Send me an email. Okay. What else?
I already have software.
Already have software. Okay.
We don't need a software.
You don't need a software. Right. Not interested. All these rejections, well, except with the email, you've been talking about software and not about business benefits. I won't mention software in that opening 2 minutes. I never said once are we talking about platforms, software. Put people to sleep. No, I'm not saying the product's not great. It is. Actually, my co-working space uses Factorial, and I interviewed them about it. And they were very complimentary. The point here is we're selling the impact, not the product. I can't get excited about using a computer program, but I might get excited about how it can improve my performance in the business, how it can improve the working processes of my company, and maybe make people's jobs easier. So we don't talk about software in that first call. We talk about the impact of the business. That's so important, because then they can't use the objections. We have a software platform. Now, if they say, well, what is it exactly? Come on, get to the point. Well, we don't lie. But we're not leading with that. So I want you to do this as well, guys. I want you to list out, and you can do this as part of your group, your region groups. Right at the top, 5 or 10. In fact, no, write them all out. All the objections that you get. And then get everybody together and just align them so that you've got the full body of them. And then I want you to work together to say, right, what are the best responses that we've had successes with for each of them? So that every one of you has the tools to say, you know what, and to the email, I'd like to, but you know what? I'm sure that email will sit in your inbox. And I know that for 2 minutes, if I can have your time, I'd like to demonstrate why it might be in your interest, or it might be really valuable for you to have a call with us further. Because this is what all our other clients said, send me an email. And you know, I'm reluctant to do that because it probably won't connect with you. So I appreciate this might not be the right time. And if there's a better time this week, I'd be more than happy to call you back. Because who reads emails? You know, we've got so many social media channels. If at the end of the call when you've been talking and they say, send me an email, you think, yes, he's interested. I'd love to do that. Why don't I take your email address? I'll send you a calendar invite for later this week and I'll attach the information to that as a foreshadowing of what we're going to talk about. Yeah? Everything must have a continuation. Sorry.
Okay, very good point. So just to make sure I get the point, so your advice is to get the first call, push the benefits, and schedule a second call with the person?
100%.
Push for set the information about the platform, who we are, and at the moment talk about solution exactly.
What you want to do on a call with a client, whether it's the first one or the second one, is you want to learn about their needs. So what you could do, if you have longer, which is typically the second call, you can ask situational questions. How does your business deal with X? And get them to open up about how they... the more you understand about their business and the way that their business operates, and because what you do has the same benefits for all kinds of companies, it's very easy to determine that this part of the software impacts this kind of a business. So it addresses a particular problem. So you ask them about how they manage that particular problem. How do you find managing employee holidays? You're a 50-people company. Even better, you know a little bit about their company because you did a bit of research online. You use LinkedIn Navigator, right? So the more information you can share casually that reflects that you have some understanding about their business, they're not going to feel so much like they're the next person you've called in a list of 100. Everybody wants to feel special, right? And if I make it more personal, and I'm not sounding like a robot, and I'm actually referencing something specific about your company, okay, you're going to get more engagement. It's how much in time you invest, they invest back, yeah? So write the script. Have a list of rejection responses, yeah? And if we had more time, we could go through them and work through them much more succinctly. But you can go away and do this, and you work together. Listen, your success isn't affected by someone else getting a meeting, so share the information. You're all in this together. Teamwork in this respect is going to make the workload go smaller when you're working for these answers. Someone here has had a response that they've come up with that's been beneficial in that particular objection. Share it and let that become circular in his exchange. So know the impact that you have and how it positively improves their business. And be clear on all the objections that you're going to get and know how you're going to respond to them. Always have the objective of opening another, setting another conversation, ideally in the week that's coming, if it's at the beginning of the week, so there's momentum. Yeah. Always send an email after you've had the call to say, providing they've said yes, of course, to say, great, it's an invitation, sorry, and attach a very loose outline of what you're going to cover in the meeting that you've scheduled. Don't overload them with brochures. If it's more than the page, the likelihood of them reading it goes down. So when you read something, if you get an email, how many of you read every word? No? What do? We scam read. We pick out the keywords, we recognize keywords, and after the first paragraph, if we're not interested, we'll go 5 words, 3 words, and I'm not finishing the rest of it. Because we've got more important things to do with our time. Put yourself in the mind of your client. They're not going to read a huge amount of information. It's your job to share the value and recognize when they say, send me some information, it's like, really, go away. So don't think that that's a good response. So it's like, thanks, I'd love to, but we know, funny enough, that's what all of our clients said, send me an email, and I know that the value that we represent as a company and how we impact them won't be succinctly contained in the data sheet that I'll send you. Just give me 2 minutes of your time now, and if it's not convenient, I'm happy to call back, because I know that we really, really help companies like you, and I'd love to tell you about that. Wouldn't you like to know? So the point is, we have to disrupt the normal responses. And if you can't have to your hand a response, then you're going to end up going through the, okay, thanks very much, goodbye, pick up another call. And if you have a bad call like that, don't pick up the phone and start dialing again in that same energy. Remember the energy we had this morning, yeah? Everybody was animated. So get up, put your headphones on, put a tune on. Everybody got one tune that they like that go, yeah. Go and do that somewhere. 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. Just pop yourself back up, get back on the phone. But don't sit in that energy of, oh, screw that call up. You're going to make so many mistakes. And if you really want to hack it, don't sit down when you call guys. Yeah, you'll sit comfy in your chair. Yeah. Stand up. You're opening your lungs up. You're more command and control. Energy, embody the energy that you have. Yeah, really, really just, you got headsets, yeah? Yeah? Just picture Wolf of Wall Street. You're sitting around there, you're walking around. Yeah, absolutely. You're going to talk with more conviction, more power, as opposed to, because you're new and you don't want to sound like you don't know what you're doing, so at your desk you're going to, oh, hi there, it's Taryn from Factorial, and can I talk to you about, hey, we make ourselves really small because we don't want to look stupid when we get something wrong. Screw that. You're going to make mistakes, make them, learn from them. Mistakes are some of our best teachers. If you don't make mistakes, you're not improving. Honestly, stand up, be heard. It's a little bit of ego, it's not too much. It's like, yeah. When I was running sales teams, I took their chairs away. The graduates, I was taking graduates from university, and I observed that sinking behind their desk because they were a bit embarrassed about saying something stupid in front of the senior guys. So the only way I could break that pattern was to say, right, you're not allowed to have a chair, you have to earn the chair. At the end, they didn't want to sit down anyway. It's like, yeah, no, we want to talk to you about telecoms. It's like they just come from a different energy. The more confident you are about what you speak about, not in arrogance, but your command of how you impact other people's businesses and how much you understand. I encourage you to really get to know the product. And do you have marketing here today? Anyone from marketing? But you have a marketing team, right? Go and talk to the marketing team. Say, hi, I've just joined. I really want to do well in this job, and I know that marketing is an incredible component of that, because marketing and sales are the same coin, different sides. If you record calls, excellent. They need to hear what's being said by the customer. Yeah? Use that information, use marketing, give them feedback. Go and tell them, this is what we're getting, this is what we're hearing. Between you, come up with the answers. How are we doing for time? Have I run over? 10:35. Okay, a little bit over. Okay, well, look, there is no silver bullet. You are going to make loads of calls. You're not going to get all of them as meetings, but you can align yourself with the better outcomes. Yeah? And how you feel about what you're doing is going to massively improve the quality of the conversation. Yeah? Every conversation could be looked at as a seed. Yeah? You plant a seed, it doesn't grow instantly. So you could have a conversation with someone today, and if you have the right impact upon them, it might be 6 months when they go, oh, Factorial, or that person. I actually have had conversations with people in companies that I didn't sell to, but they moved to another company where they did have a requirement, they remembered me, they phoned me up. They said, Taryn, let's talk. And there's no BS, that happens because we never know the impact of our engagement at that moment. So treat every one of them as a possible sale, a possible opportunity to communicate, a possible opportunity to be in service, yeah? So anybody have any questions, specifics that I can try and answer? Some questions? No questions? Has it been useful?
Yes.
Yeah?
Guys,
excellent.
it is impossible for you to not have questions, so please, who has a question? Show me the mic.
Yeah, it'd be good.
You're here to learn, so you must have questions, right?
I would say this, yeah, and there are no stupid questions except the ones you don't ask. Please speak up, though. How do you create urgency?
Once the demo is done and everything, so they saw the platform, how do you create the emergency? So imagine they like the software, so how do you do to make sign up quickly?
Okay, well, we're going to cover this in 2 weeks, but to answer your question, because I'm not going to dodge it, urgency is not created at the end. That's desperation. That's please sign, please buy it, I really need to make my number. You create urgency at the beginning in that discovery phase when you completely identify how you can impact their business. But more importantly, get the client to recognize the pain of their situation. If I wanted to sell you a tablet, a headache tablet, for 150 euros, you'd be like, I've got a headache, but I'm not going to spend 150 euros. But if you had a brain tumor and the tablet was going to fix it, you know you'd spend 250,000 euros because it's your life. You have to identify their pain and get them to recognize it in order to create the urgency. Yeah?
So you have to make them realize what is the problem in their company, and then they realize by themselves that they have to sign up quickly first.
Well, you steer them, and it's not just the problem. The problem is something, it's the pain, the consequence of not acting. Hey.
So I do mainly inbound calling, and but we have a marketing campaign on LinkedIn where people click it and then they have to fill in the form.
Yep.
And then I call them and I'm like, hey, I saw you filled in the form on LinkedIn, and they're like, oh, I didn't do anything. What is Factorial? And this is a very big objection that I face, because if they filled in the form, then, you know.
So the person that name is on there, and they're claiming they didn't do it.
Yeah, the name, the name of the business, the email, so, and this happens very frequently, and I never know how to surpass the objection.
I'd have to think about that more, because there's a fundamental disconnect between, look, you're acting one way and you're saying, you could even say, look, someone from your company, because if I say, you filled in the form, you did it, you got to talk. It's like, no, I don't want to talk to you. It's like, hi there, someone from your company recently showed some interest in our products and services, and I'm just following up on that. And I wondered, who's the best person to speak to about impacting the operations or whatever the benefit that we're going to describe? Who's the best person? Diffuse the situation, because the moment you say, yeah, you signed up, you need to talk to me, and they'll be like, fuck off, I don't want to talk to you. So diffuse. Hey, someone from your company got in touch because they were interested, and we'd really like to see how we can help. Is that a bit better? I mean, give me more time and I might be able to come up with something more nuanced, but off the top of my head, that's what I'd say.
Do you have any suggestion about no-show? I mean, like, to recognize whether someone is just being polite and just saying, yeah, okay, I'm just doing the demo or whatever.
Okay, so that, brilliant. That's the yes, as opposed to that's it. Yeah, because people use the yes to get you off the phone. Yeah. So if you speak to a pain and they say, yeah, that's it, that problem I have, can we help you explore how we can work together? Or can we help you by showing you how that we've impacted other people's? Would that be of interest? Yeah. You have to, the superficial yes is just a, so you have to get explicit in the pain that you're talking about, and they have to acknowledge that pain. Yeah? Because otherwise it is a brush off. Is that what you meant, yeah? Yeah, okay. Hey there.
Everything that you said was really interesting, but it has really powerful impacts as long as you talk to the target. So how could you get past the gatekeeper in the first place?
So you're going to talk, you want to talk to more than one person. Now the gatekeeper could be the receptionist, could be someone in a department, but you don't know who people are, so we treat them all with the same respect. And if you can articulate the value of how it can improve them, if they're involved in the situation as opposed to just a telephone gatekeeper, you can try and see what is their personal win. How does it impact you? Yeah? How does it impact the rest of the business? And if you're going to go across, so you're talking to, I don't know, operations and you want to talk to HR, HR. It's like, I would love to understand from operations perspective, from HR's perspective, the challenges that they're facing too. And would you be able to introduce me, or even better still, invite them along on the next call when we do the demonstration, because it's probably better that they get that understanding earlier, or they get that opportunity to contribute earlier. Yeah? If you go, right, they're going to push back. If you go round them, they're going to feel marginalized. So you have to bring them on side and as an ally. Yeah? How can I help you win in this company? What's your personal benefit from this? How can I make you look good? If it's just a telephone, guys, mix up the calling. Yeah? If the the switchboard comes on at 9 o'clock, phone at 8:30. See if you can get their direct dial and see if they pick the phone up themselves directly. Yeah? And to this point, you know, when you say, hi there, it's Taryn, I'm calling for Juan, yeah? And they say, is Juan expecting your call? What do you say?
I say always yes.
Is it true?
No, but...
Then there's incongruence.
But I always think I can only lose if I say it.
No, you've already lost because you're lying. And they say, well, I don't know you. What you can do, though, is send them an email or a message on LinkedIn to say, hey, Juan, I've really been trying to get hold of you for the last few days because really want to talk to you about what we've been doing for companies like yours. I'm going to call you this week to have that conversation. Yeah, and now you're not lying. Now you're not lying. It's absolute congruence. I can say that without any sense of I'm being dishonest inside. And the gatekeeper says, well, okay, she said, yeah, she said you're expecting the call. If they didn't read it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, to be honest, most of the time they ask, like, are you already in contact? And then I say with more confidence, yes, because I already emailed him, etc.
And you can hear in the voice when someone's like, yes, they're expecting the call. So when we come from that sense of congruency and confidence, you know, yeah, absolutely, because I know I sent them an email. And you say, hey, Juan, how are you this morning? Juan, it's Taryn. How are you? Juan, I've been trying to reach you for a few days. Thanks for taking the call. I won't keep much of your time. Bing. I'm not sure if you saw my email. Did you see it? No. Great. It said. Did you see it? Yes. Great. It said. It doesn't matter. You use it as a framing point for the conversation. And if you want to send them something that's relevant to their industry. Just send them an article. Don't ask for anything online. If you send someone an outbound and you're connecting with them, the worst thing you can do is send a request and then say, hey, thanks for accepting my request. Can you look at my documents, or can you give me 15 minutes of your time? And it's like, go away, salesperson. Add value. You can give first, receive after. So add value. What is going to make an impact on their day? Hey, have you seen the latest trends in this? Have you seen the latest thinking on that? Did you see this post? I've sent you the link. Create, I think, 12 touch points. No, was it 12 touch points you aim for? Brilliant. Create a bow wave of awareness so they know your company name and maybe your name before you actually say anything in the lines of, can we have something from you? I've been giving, I've been giving, I've been giving. Hey, I'd like to share some more. And if that's of interest, let's have a further conversation where I've got 15, 20 minutes of your time. 40 minutes and I'll show you the demo as well. Other questions?
So if you're talking to someone and you talk about not mentioning the software and creating the need, if, say, for example, they've signed up with another HR platform in the past year because they've understood that need, how do you approach that?
So you say you've got a platform from X. Great. How's that working out for you? Did it match your expectations?
Yes.
Did you think that it was going to do more? What would you want it to do if it doesn't do everything? Did you sign up for a 12-month or is it a rolling contract? Well, I tell you what, listen, it's a good platform. You know, there's some really good software out there. But if you find that it isn't what you thought it was in 6 months' time, give me a call back. In fact, do you know what? If it's okay with you, I'm going to give you a call back to see how you're getting on with it. Because at the end of the day, if they've got a platform in place, you're really not going to displace it unless there's a problem. So how is that working out for you? Now, the trouble with that question is, I was the guy that bought that software platform, so I'm not going to tell you I made a stupid move and bought a crap one. Yeah, it's great. Okay, fine. What do you like about it specifically? What was the key features that actually made you choose that one? Huh. Why do we want to know that? Because it might help us in our sales engagement to understand what people are saying they really need, so we can use that to shape our engagement. If people keep talking about the fact that it's got 2 bells and a red whistle, that's what we want to talk about. But if they say, no, I'm really interested in the blue lights, then you talk about the blue lights. You go where the client's interest is. So the more we can understand about our buying customer, the more we can talk their language. And their language is really important. Use the words that they use. Do you understand what mirroring is? So you're saying that. Now, I understand what you're saying is this, right? Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Mirror their language, repeating. It reinforces their sense that you're listening. Because what goes on in the subconscious is, salesperson just wants to get something from me, they're not really listening, they're waiting to speak. Yeah, we're all guilty of doing that from time to time. Any of you on Clubhouse? Do you know what Clubhouse is? Yeah. So it's the latest social platform that allows people to communicate across the world on a myriad of topics. It's fantastic. I do a lot of rooms on there talking about sales and mindset. But you hear someone say something and the host goes, yeah, that was great, and now I want to talk about myself. We need the person to recognize that we're listening. And the best way we can demonstrate that is by repeating what they've said. It creates rapport. Oh, they are listening. Yeah, that's it. It's a powerful tool for building connection. And you've also noticed I've changed my voice. The way that we speak is incredibly important. In a sales call, what you don't want to do is an uptick at the end. Hello there, how are you? Or, would it be okay? Yeah, that. Speak from a more centered position. Hey, it's Taryn. Been trying to reach you for a few days. I'd like to speak to you about why Factorial could impact your business. There's no sort of give me in the voice. There's no sort of energy of there's a difference in status. No, my time is as important as yours. I know you're busy, I'm busy, let's get to the point. Come from that energy of authority. Authority comes from command and control. Know your business, know your product, know your customer. The more you can absorb that, the more you can speak with authority. Stand up, speak confidently.
Last question, please.
Sorry, I get carried away.
We're running out of time. Last question.
Sorry, can you speak up?
Thanks for this.
Aston, yeah?
Yes, Aston. And how do you know that?
Because you connected with me this morning. See, I remember.
I wanted to ask you, given that there's a lot of people working from home, what would you be your first contact through LinkedIn, for example? What would you say?
What would be my first contact?
Yes, what would you say? What would you
on a LinkedIn connection?
Yes. Will you write a message before connecting?
Do you know what? This comes up a lot, and I've tried different things. I suggest a few different things. Personalization versus personal. Yeah. If you're going to do nothing more than say, "Hi, Aston, nice to connect," or "Hi, Aston, I'd like to connect networks because we're both in this industry," that's fine. But if it's not specifically relevant to them, that it's immediately obvious that you've read their profile, then I would stay away from messages that look like you've just sent it out to everybody, because then it screams that you've used an automated tool. Yeah? So either just keep it simple, "Hi there, would love to connect because we're in the same industry, best regards," and then use that afterwards, now you're connected. And certainly don't go from connection today, calling tomorrow, or mailing tomorrow. There needs to be a little bit of time, elongate that process. So, does that make sense?
And once you connected with the person you want to talk about,
Give them something, not take something.
what would you say?
As I said before, share an insight. Get your marketing department to write an article that you can post on LinkedIn and then refer it. Say, here's a link to an article that I think you, as a person in this role in this company, will find really interesting. Let me know what you think. Don't ask for anything. Give. Yeah? Because they're expecting you to say, can I have some of your time? And don't even ask me, if you're interested in getting, I'm sharing it for the sake of sharing it. Because this whole idea of accelerating the sales cycle, I know I'm going to talk about that and how this is a focus. But if you've got a pipeline of business build up, once it starts dropping, it doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as it doesn't take too long, because every month business is dropping. All you need to do is meet the number. And as long as you're filling the pipeline, every month it's going to come through. So if you connect with 100 people and do that 100 messages saying, hey, this is going to be of interest to you because this is what you do, and I wanted to share it with you, feel free to let me know what you think of it. But that's it. Do that before you say, we do this. If you're interested, let me know, or can I have? Because those first engagements, it's like walking up to a stranger in the street and saying, you don't know me, but I'm going to talk to you and I want you to give me your attention. Because if they're not giving you their money, all they can do is give their attention. Attention is a new currency. Look at social media. They want you on platform. They keep you on platform because they're hijacking your awareness, because that's where the value is for them. So be mindful of that and be respectful of it. So share something rather than take something. Okay, guys, well, look, I know we've run out of time. I'm going to run over a little bit, apologies. I hope that was useful. Please all connect with me on LinkedIn. There's loads of content that I post about mindset, about sales technique. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have as well. But thank you very much for listening.